So there are recent rumors about a Walking Dead crossover spin-off or a Walking Dead season 12, and in today's video I'm just going to be talking about the rumors. Where did this rumor come from? What is the source? And my theories and speculation, and also what do I think about this rumor. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so for about a day now, there's been this really big rumor that's been going around Twitter and just social media in general that there is going to be a Walking Dead season 12 where they get all these characters from these different spin-offs and they put them into one big season for the Walking Dead universe. And we've been discussing this for quite some time, right? I've been talking about this on my channel for about 2 years now, right? So seeing this being in the rumor mill and, you know, everyone talking about it, right? It's quite obvious that this is going to happen. And the reason why I'm talking about this rumor, right? Because usually I don't talk about rumors that don't have much credibility to them, but this is basically the best source we could get it from, right? And this comes from Daniel RPK. And if you guys don't know who Daniel RPK is, he's the man that leaks all of the Avengers and the MCU stuff, right? He leaks a lot of other stuff also, right? He has real industry connections, right? His track record is really good, and he's the one that actually, you know, leaked Chris Evans to be in Doomsday. And now for the past 2-3 days we've seen leaked trailers for Avengers Doomsday, and lo and behold, there is Steve Rogers right there. So yeah, like, you know, he's already a credible source for the industry, and he apparently stated that they're working on a Walking Dead season 12. Now, of course, he did not post this on his Twitter page. I checked his Twitter page, but he does have some sort of Patreon page, right, where people, they pay per month and they get the scoops from there, and apparently he posted it there. So yet again, I would say take a grain of salt, right? But usually whatever he says comes true. And yeah, like, you know, it's very obvious that they did this, right? It is a given that they would do this, because we've seen with the different spin-offs of the Walking Dead universe, right, they haven't been doing so good. It's been going down quite hard, right? And it looks like that they're pushing the big red button, and we've been thinking that, you know, they're gonna make a Gabriel and Aaron spin-off and a Commonwealth spin-off. But now that you think about it, with the state that these spin-offs are in, right, you have all the A-listers. You have Rick Grimes, Negan, and Daryl. Those three characters got their spin-offs and they did not do that well, right? They did not do as good as they expected. So probably AMC thought that, you know, if the A-listers couldn't bring that view count, how could B-listers bring it? How could side characters bring it? And of course, for the normal fans, right, you know, for people that are not that deep into the Walking Dead universe like how I am or how you are that are watching this video, they're not, if they don't see Rick Grimes or if they don't see Daryl or Negan also, then they're just not going to watch it, right? You know, the same thing almost happened with Fear the Walking Dead, right? But Fear the Walking Dead was its own show that was like The Walking Dead, so that's why it had some traction, but it did not have that viewer count as The Walking Dead did, even though after they put Morgan into the show, yet again, the viewer count was only just hardcore fans or just people checking out the show because The Walking Dead was so good. And like, you know, and there's one more thing I want to talk about when it comes to rumors and all this stuff that's been going around social media and YouTubers talking about these sort of things. A couple of weeks ago, Norman Reedus, he did post like a goodbye message, right? You know, saying thank you to the role of Daryl and his last day on Daryl Dixon. I did not talk about it, right? You know, all of you may be wondering why I didn't talk about it, and that's because Norman Reedus is not leaving this role, right, anytime soon. He has to have a reunion with Rick, and that's the reason why I didn't talk about it, because all these YouTubers are talking about Norman Reedus leaving the Walking Dead universe and people thinking of it as like a fact that's going to happen. But I didn't want to talk about it because I knew that that wasn't going to happen, right? You know, they were building up towards a reunion, and these spin-offs would have felt really useless if they did not have any sort of conclusion to them, right? You know, yeah, you know, conclusion in the sense of, oh yeah, Rick made it home, or, you know, Daryl makes it back home, but having a big reunion, having this big threat or this big climactic moment for the universe, And then after that having a conclusion with these characters, then yeah, that makes sense that yeah, like the Walking Dead universe could potentially end after this. And with this rumor coming out, right, with this scoop coming out that they're developing a Walking Dead spin-off that is basically The Walking Dead season 12, this also lines up with Andrew Lincoln stating that he's in talks currently to come back in the Walking Dead universe. And also Scott Gimple did go to London a couple of weeks back to meet Andrew Lincoln, and I made a video about that, and I basically said that Scott Gimple went to go discuss his contract, right? He went to go discuss Andrew Lincoln's contract in person, and they're basically gearing up to, make some sort of deal with Andrew Lincoln for him to come back to the Walking Dead universe. So if they're discussing a contract of some sorts, and if Andrew Lincoln is in discussions to come back to the Walking Dead universe, then I think that this rumor does line up perfectly, and I think they're going to develop it very, very soon. We might actually get a announcement of some sorts with Dead City season 3, right? Because the rumors are that Dead City season 3 might be the last season for Dead City. Now, I'm not too sure how true that is. I personally think it's Dead City season 4 because of all the rumors and leaks, but a lot of people are saying that, Dead City season 3 could potentially be the last season. And, it makes sense, right? Because Dead City season 2 didn't do all that well, right? The viewer count dropped drastically, even for Daryl Dixon as well. So it makes sense. Why would they want to conclude this with season 3 so they could go right into the crossover spin-off? But they would have to handle it very well. They would have to make it look very, very natural. So I think that with Dead City almost coming out, right, and also production wrapping up like a few days ago, I think that Andrew Lincoln has some sort of cameo in Dead City season 3, and they're going to start building up towards that crossover spin-off, right? In Daryl Dixon season 4, they're going to show Rick Grimes in there, and in Dead City season 3 or season 4, they're going to show Rick Grimes in there as well. And also with Dead City, in my opinion, being the weakest spin-off out of the 3, I think that they would need something to have people watch it, especially, and I think that Rick Grimes showing up in season 3 or season 4 is the perfect way to do it. And if they finally show that they know what they're doing, I think that that would be a big, big benefit for the Walking Dead universe. And I think that AMC also feels threatened as well. And what do I mean by that? And of course, this was in no rumors, right? It wasn't in anything, right? This is just my speculation right here. A couple of days ago, Netflix bought Warner Brothers. Now that deal isn't completely finalized. I believe it has to go by the government, right? No, they have to approve this because it was like an $8 billion deal. So of course, it's going to take some time to process that. And with HBO being Netflix's biggest rival, right, biggest competitor, if they bought out their rival, what do you think they're going to do with AMC? Right, this is a thought that came in my head, right? And the first thought wasn't, oh yeah, the DC universe or the It movies, right? That wasn't the first thing that came in my head. The first thing that came in my head is that if Netflix was willing to push the button with HBO and Warner Brothers, they must have their eyes on AMC as well. And I think that it's a matter of time before they buy AMC and all their assets, including the Walking Dead universe. Now, of course, this could be a very good thing for AMC, or this could be a very bad thing. And now for us, the fans, I believe it's a bad thing, right? If the Walking Dead universe goes under Netflix, and of course, I know that, Netflix has a deal with AMC to bring the Walking Dead onto Netflix, right? In the US, right, the Ones Who Live and all these other spin-offs are on Netflix, and they did very, very well on Netflix. So they do have a deal in place, but I'm just talking about AMC in general, right? AMC is another competitor of Netflix, right? It's not as big as HBO, but they are a competitor. And I think that Netflix is working towards monopolizing the streaming service industry or whatever, right? So yeah, I think AMC is in like that state where they could be bought out, right? Not sometime soon, but another year or two. So I think that to get their numbers up, to get their viewership up, right? I don't know much about deals and business deals and all that stuff when it comes to the industry, but from what I think that AMC needs to push the button on this crossover event that they've been building up towards for so long before Netflix buys them out or some other company buys them out and they basically lose all of that, right? You know, because a lot of people are saying that Welcome to Derry could potentially be canceled because of this deal. And of course, Welcome to Derry is an amazing show right now. Like, that ending was very crazy, right? Comment down what you guys think about that. But from what I'm trying to say is that if Netflix is willing to cancel all of these projects that WB is doing, I think that AMC needs to already make that crossover spin-off, right, for the Walking Dead universe before Netflix or any other company buys them out and cancels the entire project. But I just want to get back into this whole rumor for The Walking Dead Season 12, or The Walking Dead 2, what you call it, right? Because I just want to talk about that whole Netflix and AMC thing, right? Because it's been bugging me for quite some time now. But what the tweet says, right, and I had the screenshot up before, but I will read it now. It says, a new Walking Dead crossover series that will unite all the spin-offs is reportedly in the works at AMC. Basically, The Walking Dead 2. Now, of course, all the spin-offs mean Daryl Dixon, Dead City, and The Ones Who Live, so Rick, Daryl Negan, Michonne, Carol, and Maggie. And I believe that this also includes Fear the Walking Dead characters, World Beyond characters, right? Basically all of the spin-offs that we've seen in the Walking Dead universe, we're going to be seeing all of those characters together. And first of all, this is a really good call, right? You know, this is an amazing call, right? I broke it down earlier, right? But I think that they should be pulling the trigger on this crossover series very soon, actually. And now they specifically said a Walking Dead 2, right? And basically The Walking Dead 2. Now, what a lot of people thought is that this crossover series would be only one season long, right? It's just going to have a beginning, middle, and end without any other season to it. But where they said The Walking Dead 2, I believe that this would mean that they're planning multiple seasons with these characters, and personally that would be great, right? You know, if they just go back to the roots, they have all these characters together and they're just going through seasons like how it was back in the good old days. I personally would really want that. I hope it's not like a letdown like how The Ones Who Live was, right? You know, just a one and done season. I hope that they do bring these characters together and give them a lot of screen time together, a lot of character development together, and then possibly by the 4th or 5th season, right? Because this is going to be successful, right? You know, the reason why these spin-offs weren't doing that great was, one, writing, right? The storytelling for these spin-offs weren't really that great, right? The endings were really weird. And two, is that we didn't see all of the characters together, right? What they've been building up towards, it did not feel like a connected universe. But with all these characters together, I think that's a really big selling point, and this is going to do really well. This is going to make a lot of money for AMC, and I think that they could really stretch this for a couple of seasons, right? Because the reason why people loved the original show was all of these characters together, all of these characters surviving together. But where you have all these characters in different locations, then, you know, that basically defeats the whole purpose of uniting together and surviving together as a family. So yeah, you know, they're basically bringing it back to the roots of The Walking Dead, and they're going to have all these characters together in one big series. Now, personally, I would have had a movie, right? You know, if you really ask me personally, I would have had a movie with all these characters on the big screen. But now that I think about it, I think that a season is better. Is actually way better, because then they could tell much more stories, and then that is the season, right? That is the show where you could kill off major characters, right? No, and if they just show it off in season 1, for example, if Morgan dies right away, right? A main character in the Walking Dead universe dies right away in the first season, then it would create this suspense that, you know, no one is safe in this show, right? You know, anyone could die, and if they start killing off major characters, personally, I don't want to really see that, but, you know, it would do wonders for the character development and the writing. And I think that that is the main issue for The Walking Dead recently, right? Now, after Carl died in season 8, they were too afraid to kill off major characters. And the whole point of The Walking Dead is that nobody is safe, right? It's the apocalypse. So, you know, if they go back to the roots of that sort of way, that anyone could die at any moment, then I think that this would be very great. And I just hope to God that, you know, the writing is good, right? You know, I hope that they get new writers that really care about these characters, that really care about this universe, right? And they are able to deliver something that, you know, we've all been waiting for a couple of years now. But yeah, I think that this rumor is 100% real. They are developing something, and an announcement would possibly come at Comic-Con, right? I think that they need to rebuild that hype that was lost when these spin-offs came out, right? When these spin-offs were announced, everyone was very hyped, right? They had these massive expectations, but then now they really don't have any faith in the Walking Dead universe. So I hope that they make some sort of announcement at Comic-Con and actually get us excited for something. And yeah, going back to the rumor, I think it's 110% real, and we're going to get some sort of announcement soon because Daniel RPK is the best scooper in the industry. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.